So, how can you tell when a crisis response is moving faster than the accountability can support?
Mm.
Mm.
I
We're like, hold up.
Yeah.
Do we not? No,
Yeah.
I'm just
Like,
kidding.
how do we? That's a
How do
great
we do this?
question.
bet it's like the fastest way to know if, the response is moving faster than the accountability is when there hasn't been any real ownership and you see the response of the audience. So when you see people not really understanding, how many times have you been online and a company has come out and they've released a statement and everyone in the comments is like, that's cap, that's not believable, they don't believe that. There's something
Mhm.
you did. There's something they did to miss the mark there. Either their statement was vague, which is a red
I was
flag.
going to say that there's vagueness because then the question's like,
Yes,
wait, I still have questions. This didn't
I
answer
still have
Right.
anything.
What's that
Yeah.
even
questions.
mean?
Yeah.
What are
Where's the
you
leadership
doing?
team? We haven't seen them come out and say a thing. They're rushing to the next steps instead of sitting in that uncomfortability and not naming the real issue.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
exactly when you know.
Yeah. Well, and I think the hard part about that is it's timing versus your message. And that's why,
Mm,
again, if you don't have a
Oh, I
crisis
like that.
response ready to go, you're not going to match those two. You're just not. There's a lot of times, you talked about the vagueness. Ari, fans put out these statements because they're like, we have to address this head on. And they're right. They need to. They need to address it. But then all the questions come, where's leadership? What does this mean? What are you going to do? Well, they didn't have a response ready. They weren't prepared for this. They didn't know what was going to happen. So they don't have the right answer, but they had to get something out. And so now they're just still backpedaling, trying to get it all out
and
because you
rushing.
need to have both. You need to have the right message and it needs to be quick.
Yeah, that's so true. It does need to be quick, but also too, I would say on the flip side of that, a fast response in the wrong direction is not a win.
No, no,
If you're getting
No.
that out there
because now you have
quickly,
two crises.
When has it ever been good? When has it ever been good to just react to something? Like,
you're
Right.
when has
right.
it really
Right.
been, in
Yeah,
anybody's
Yeah.
it's
favor?
not a good look. Yeah. But that's usually a big signal that it's outpacing accountability. And then another one is internal too. I know we kind of touched
Yeah.
on that, but usually there is a lack of rollout and a proper rollout internally with communication inside of your organization. People are like, wait, what are we actually owning here? Or why aren't we saying enough? Or why are we hiding things that we know internally are happening? Or is there any change that's happening for us inside of this organization behind the statement? That is another shift that you should be looking for too,
Hmm.
because your statement's out there, you moved fast, but even your internal team doesn't know what's going on and they can't even identify what you're actually owning.
Great.